Hello, happy 2021. Hi, everyone. So glad to be here for this this first broadcast of 2021, where I come on every Monday at 11 a.m. I missed last week because I was trying to take the week off. I did the best I could. I was offline, but I did a lot of projects. That's just me, but. So I'm just tapping hello to everybody on here. So say hello. I would love to hear from you if you're here. If you have a question, start typing it in. This is live coaching session. I usually bring a topic just to get the conversation going. And then sometimes by the end of I'm talking. And by the end, then everybody has no more questions. It depends on the day. Sometimes there's tons of questions and some. Good morning, Stanley. So come say hello to me. I'm on a streaming software, so I'm not directly on the platform wherever you are. If you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube or if you're on Instagram, I'm manning it from a different place. So if I can't see you, that means, so I'm not saying hi, that just means I can't see you on this software. So say hello. I should see your comments coming up. All right, so today we're going to talk about change. I thought it'd be a perfect day to talk about change because change is in the air and we're craving some change. I feel like we've spent a really long time in our lives being afraid of change because change feels so out of control, so unknown. So like, oh my gosh, do we have power here? Are we losing our power if we agree to change? And so we hold on very tightly to the status quo. It's our ego's job, actually. It's the job of our ego to hold on and not change in the guise that it's protecting you. And it really makes it feel like it's protecting you, hiking, and it does. And you feel like if you let go a little bit, then you could, fall off some imaginary cliff and never come back to yourself if you change, or you be out of control, or there's this unknown and you don't know what's going to happen. Listen, if we didn't have change in our lives, first of all, it'd be really boring. And that's not even the worst of it. And boring is pretty bad. And I think we've learned this year more than any other time that boring is not good for our psyche. Our human brain has been evolved to solve problems. So when we're bored, it freaks out because it feels like we're not okay and not safe. And so boredom is really not good for your mental health. And what happens is we're bored, and then we have the regular human response to that boredom, and then we get really freaked out, like what the heck is wrong with us when we're having a regular human response. So boredom is not the worst thing that happens, but it's pretty bad if you don't if you don't embrace change. Boredom is a huge risk, and it's not even the worst risk. The worst risk is staying in intense suffering that we do because it's a suffering that we know. And we stay in this suffering that we know, and we're afraid to go into some unknown. But sometimes that unknown is healing. And by definition, healing. Like if someone's like, okay, this is how you heal. You let go of what's making you suffer. You bring in what's good for you, what you enjoy. You bring more joy in. You do these practices to really center yourself and build trust in yourself. Like there's very little risk to those kind of practices. And if we don't embrace those because we're really afraid of this unknown healing, what it's going to feel like to be healed, and it's going to be different. And what if it's not okay? What if it's worse? By definition, it's not worse. It's better. And so I just wanted to encourage you to just let you know, because a lot of times we feel this resistance to change, and we feel this worry about change, and we think we're the only ones who are worried about change and who have this resistance to change. We think it's me. I'm the only one who has this feeling. And no, you're not the only one. And that's why I'm telling you about this in this video right now, is because you're not the only one who freaks out about change. It's a regular human response, but you can override it if you realize that. If you don't get bogged down thinking something's wrong with me, what's wrong with me, then you could actually do something about it. You could say, okay, healing by definition is better than what I'm experiencing now. So let me try these very practical things that might bring some of that healing in. And I know, Nikki, I don't see you around here because I can't see a list of people, but if, she commented on this morning's post. I made a morning post this morning to tell about what I'm going to talk about today. And she said that somebody told her, a birdie told her that, if you want stuff to change, you can't keep doing the same thing. You have to do something different if you want something to change, if you want something different, if you want more love in your life, if you want more joy in your life, if you want more peace in your life, less anxiety, less burnout, if you want more emotional bandwidth to be able to handle things and help people and lead and heal others, you want to, I knew you were, you want to try something different. And the trying something different, it doesn't mean like get this big riskiest thing that you could imagine and try that. No, it's like meditate and build trust in yourself. Like every morning, light a candle and spend some time, in prayer, or spend some time in quiet thinking about what you want that day to look like. So setting these intentions, there's no risk to some of this stuff. But we don't do it because we're so freaked out about change that we don't even do these things that are easy and practical and doable. And we don't have to really depend on a lot of other people. We really just are starting to build that confidence and trust in ourselves, which is life-changing. Like that's what we need more than anything, is to be able to trust ourselves. And I know a lot of us don't trust ourselves. And when we don't trust ourselves and we feel such uncertainty and everything feels out of control, like everything gets bigger. So let me remind you, it's time to ask me questions. This is the live coaching session. So you can ask me stuff, get typing, because I'm almost finished with what I want to share. And so I want to get to and be able to help you with where you are. Khadija, I'm afraid of enjoying my life. Tell me why. This is it, is like fear is so evasive. So fear is so evasive. It's like, I'm afraid of enjoying my life. Why? We don't ask for like, yeah, that's hard. And then we get really freaked out and we stay afraid, right? Why? Ask your fear why. Ask that ego, whatever the ego is doing to stop you and to resist, and has all kinds of excuses like, oh my gosh, if you enjoy your life, something bad will happen. Ask what? Get the answers. Don't just stop there and be like, yeah, I don't want bad to happen. Ask what bad would happen. Why? Because you might have some old beliefs that if you enjoy your life, somebody else suffers. If you enjoy your life, you're irreverent to people who are suffering or have had loss. Like what? What is it that is making you not be afraid of life? Can fear cause physical symptoms? Absolutely. That's a question on Instagram. Absolutely. Fear can cause physical symptoms because all upsetness, any kind of negative feeling that you have, is adrenaline. Creates a hormone adrenaline in the blood. And there's a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of adrenaline. That's why there's so many different symptoms for stress and anxiety and overwhelm. But they're all the same hormone. It's just different levels. And it's the meaning that we make around the feelings that we have. So yes, it's a very physical thing that happens in our brain and in our body, that release of adrenaline. And there's a whole myriad of physical symptoms that come along with any kind of upsetness that you have, any kind of suffering, emotional suffering, releases the adrenaline. And so I do have a YouTube video that's called, anxiety symptoms. And so that would be a great place to go. So Khadija, if you could tell me a little bit more, I might be able to help you specifically, unless I landed on it when you're like, I'm afraid of enjoying my life because I don't deserve it. But sometimes people are afraid of joining life because they feel like they don't deserve it, or that means they'll take up somebody else's space, or they'll call attention to themselves. And if you call attention to yourself, someone might hurt you. There's a lot of reasons while we resist enjoying ourselves. We think that we're not allowed to, or we think that we're not worthy of it, or we think that it will make us vulnerable to enjoy ourselves. Like if we enjoy ourselves, we might lose, like the other shoe will drop, right? There's a lot of reasons why we might be afraid, but get to know your reason, because then you could address it at that level if you know your reason. All right, let me read the next one here. Hi, Susan. Okay, so Nikki said, I was afraid to enjoy my life too. It's because I only had friends when I finally opened up about the problems in my life. So somehow inside I felt like letting go of that story meant losing those friends too. Yeah, you mentioned that recently, Nikki, and I was thinking about that when I was planning today, is that one reason that we are afraid of healing is we're afraid that we'll lose the people that could relate to us when we're down, or people that are responding in positive ways when we're down. Like that feels so nice and it makes us feel so worthy. And so we continue that being the victim, because then we have the savior. We continue that story that we're needy so that someone could fill that, and it provides something for us. But there's other ways of relating to people. That's a very maybe would be considered like a codependent way to relate to somebody, is to keep hurting so that they keep taking care of you. It doesn't help you, doesn't help them. It's not a real relationship in any kind of way. And so, yeah, I love that. I love that you're noticing that and realizing, this is not how I want to be in relationship with people anymore. I want like a real authentic connection instead of this other kind of relationship that makes me not feel good ever. We want relationships that make us feel good. Everybody, you all, and Nikki, you especially, deserve relationships that make you feel good, not keep you feeling bad. So thank you for sharing that example. And I'm so glad that but it's so helpful to everybody else. So thank you. Okay. Navanith. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic, so names are hard to pronounce, and that is such like a white cliche that I don't know how to pronounce names, and I'm conscious of it. But I'm aware on Instagram. I'm nearing the end of my time, so if you have any questions, I'm going to look to you first. But then we're going to end for today. But I could spend a little more time on Facebook and YouTube here. Okay, so how do I heal myself from trauma? Let me post this. Let me show this here. Okay. How do I heal myself from trauma and just live without mental tension? Mental tension, my mind always makes me feel dreadful. It's the usual thoughts that come and go. Sometimes I'm really fine. All right, listen, I'm going to end my Instagram live right now. So if you want to hear a little bit more about what we're talking about today, head over to my YouTube channel. You can see the rest of the video. Just fast forward to this point. All right, I'll see you later. Thank you so much. All right, let me read this again because that was hard to read and do at the same time. How do I heal myself from trauma and just live without mental tension? Okay. Well, I mean, I would say if you were, if you have a trauma in your past and you want help healing from that trauma, it depends on how big the trauma was, but I do suggest you get somebody to help guide you through that process, somebody who has experience in helping people heal from trauma, because it's a hard one. Be gentle and kind and nice to yourself. It's very hard it's recoverable, but there's so many pitfalls when you're healing from trauma that you could take you down negative paths. And when I say negative paths, it's not dangerous at all. It's you being not nice to yourself is the dangerous path. So like nothing scary or weird or wacky, but there's a lot of paths where you could not be very nice to yourself. And so you want to have a guidance there. That would really help you. Now get my MP3. So I made a new MP3, jodiamen.com/letgo. It's right here on the video. I don't know. Sorry. It's a mirror image. So I was pointing in the wrong corner. Okay. So jodiamen.com/letgo. Get that and learn how to really try to pull your mind away from the negative thoughts. What to actually do practically to pull your mind away from those negative thoughts is going to really help you. All right, so Khadijah's like, because of religion, I'm afraid if I'm happy, I will forget about life after death. Yeah. So I'm not sure about your religion, but I know a little bit about a lot of world religions. And there is sometimes like an old belief is like sacrifice is holy. Like making sacrifice is holy, and we have to sacrifice in this life to earn, the life after death, like a, good space in the life after death or goodness. And I I don't want to impose my spiritual beliefs on you, but I feel like it's not disconnected like that. It's like we have to sacrifice in this life and then we get it. I feel like this learning process that we go through, and I think a lot of world religions would agree with us, this learning process that we go to and being kind and getting joy and noticing the beauty in the moments that we're here and being present with God right now is hugely impactful of life after death, like even more so than if we sacrifice in this life and are unhappy and don't learn how to appreciate or how to love or how to be connected or connect with nature or pray or meditate, whatever, right? Or use the gifts that God gives us, right? So you're God-given gifts and we're supposed to share them with the world. And if you're not sharing them because you're not enjoying yourself because you're supposed to sacrifice, like that's not going to make better afterlife impact on your afterlife. But what would be this kindness, this connection, this love, that being with other people, embracing change, like riding it, really understanding the big picture view of why we're here and how to change to make things easier for other people around you and for yourself, like you're included in that. And so I hope that really helps without imposing any of my spiritual beliefs on you, that that there is some old, like limited beliefs in some religions that say you need to sacrifice to get rewarded. And I think that's like an old paradigm, and that's not necessarily helpful. And I think people who sacrifice to try to get that result aren't helping others and being creative and in using the gifts God's given us and in connecting with God right here and being emulating or sharing the blessings, right? Those people aren't doing that. And so that doesn't feel congruent with being, a good child of God or whatever you call God. So I hope that's really helpful. What do you think? It's helpful? All right. So thank you so much for being here. I'm glad to spend this time with you, and I'm glad for all the questions. I appreciate you and all the sharing Nikki shared. That really helps other people. All right. So I will see you next Monday. So get your questions ready for me, and I can't wait to spend that time with you. Bye.